Om Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jeevanam Kavibhireeditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadadatam Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Bhurida Janaha. Sri Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita ঠাকুরের প্রথম উক্তি মাস্টারমশাই দর্শনের সন্ধ্যা গায়ত্রীতে লয় হয়, গায়ত্রী আবার ওঙ্কারে লয় হয়। In the Gospel of Ramakrishna, during the first meeting of M, Master Mashai, Mohindranath Gupta, the profound statement which Ramakrishna made appears to be so simple, but has a deep meaning. Sandhya merges into Gayatri, and Gayatri again merges into Om. Gayatri is the awakening of the Dhi or the Prajna, and that is the Vijnanamaya Atma. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. These are the 5 layers of a human personality. Annamaya Atma is the physical self, the body, the physical body. Pranamaya Atma is the prana, or the vital self. Manomaya Atma is the psychological, the mental self. Vijnanamaya Atma is the higher intuitive intelligence self. And the Anandamaya Atma is the blissful self. This is the approximate English translation. Remember, the Upanishad, the Taittiriya Upanishad, speaks about these as independent Atma or self. Usually they are spoken of as Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. The word Kosha meaning casing, encased, like sword in a scabbard. This word has been used by Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankara in his commentaries. But the original text in the Upanishad uses the word Atma, which may be taken to mean that each of these selves, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, is an independent, autonomous self. It has its own laws of existence, and each has a sensitivity of its own, and these 5 cells or Atma are grouped into 3 bodies, Sharira. The Annamaya Atma is called the Sthula Sharira. Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, they are clubbed together into what is known as Sukshma Sharira, which is also called the Linga Sharira. And the Anandamaya Atma is the causal body or the Karana Sharira. So the Pancha Atma or Pancha Kosha grouped as Shariratraya. And there are 3 avasthas, states in which you exist: the Jagrad Avastha, Swapna Avastha, and Sushupti Avastha. The waking state, the dream state, and the state of profound or deep sleep, Sushupti. These correspond respectively to the Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, and Karana Sharira. And this also can be mapped on to the Tantra paradigm of Shat Chakra. I will share with you in course of time a chart which I have prepared showing the correspondence between Vedanta, Tantra and the Vedas. Tantra speaks about Shat Chakras, the 6 chakras. Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddha and Agya. And beyond these 6 chakras, Shat Chakra, is the Sahasrara Chakra. These can be roughly mapped onto the Pancha Atma, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, by saying that the Annamaya Atma corresponds to the Mooladhara, Pranamaya Atma to Swadhisthana, Manomaya Atma to the Manipura, the Vijnanamaya Atma to Anahata, and the Anandamaya to Vishuddha and Agnya together. Sahasrara is beyond the 5 Atmas, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, and beyond the 6 chakras. That is the state of Nirguna Brahman, and the Agya chakra, which is the Anandamaya Atma, corresponds to the Saguna Brahman. Brahman with attributes and with qualities. This is roughly the correspondence. Why I am mentioning this is because each of these shariras, Sthula, Sukshma and Karana, have their microcosmic and macrocosmic aspects. This is another important idea which I am trying to place before you, because this is extremely important to know Sri Ramakrishna's idea that Gayatri merges into Om. Merging into means you enter into it. The path which leads you to Om. Adhvanav paramapnoti tadvishno paramam padam. Kathamrita says Adhvana. Adhvana means the path, the way, which leads you from one position to another. So you have the correspondences. The Annamaya is the Sthula in its microcosmic aspect. It is called Vishwa or Vaishvanara. In its macrocosmic aspect, it is called Virat. The microcosm and macrocosm are placed together, and it shall be shown by Vedanta the microcosm and macrocosm are non-different, abhinna. They are the same. So the Vishwa in the microcosmic aspect and the Virat in the macrocosmic aspect are the same. When we move on further to the subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, it is Taijasa in the microcosmic aspect, and in the macrocosmic aspect it is called Hiranyagarbha. Taijasa means shining, Tejas, because in dream, which corresponds to this state of Swapna, you see only light. The objects which you see in dream are created by your own consciousness, and the light of the Atman makes these objects living. This is a very interesting phenomenon. This means if you analyze your daily experience of dream, you have to come to the conclusion that in dream we become creators. This is a tremendous idea which you have to absorb, recognize, and assimilate. Remember that we are creators during dream. We create all the objects from out of our own consciousness, and we play with them, we are afraid of them, we love them, we chase them. And these objects created out of our own consciousness are illumined by the light of the Atman. This is not theory, this is actual experience which every one of us passes through in the state of dream. Which means consciousness, Chaitanya, has the capacity, as it were, to divide itself into a subject and an object. Look at this very carefully. You, in dream, create objects out of your own self, consciousness, project them and illumine them by the light of the Atman. So you become creator, Srishtikarta. In that Srishti, in that creation, you become subject as well as the object. Consciousness, as it were, divides itself into subject-object. This is exactly what Ishvara or God has done in this universe. God has, as it were, divided himself into the subject, which is the Ishvara Chaitanya, and the object, which is the Jiva Chaitanya and Jagat. So Jiva Jagat are projections from that God, from that Brahman, and therefore you may say that Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, these three together as a package form what you called Brahman. And there is nothing else beyond this package. To put it in Sanskrit, Brahman is Ishvara, Jiva, Jagat, Visishta, Chaitanya Swarupa. Ishvara is the essence of consciousness, the Swarupa of consciousness, Chaitanya Swarupa, which is qualified by Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. And this Brahman qualified by Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara is non-dual Advaita, because nothing else beyond this, besides this, apart from this. And therefore this Brahman can therefore be called Visishta Advaita. The Brahman is Advaita, but Visishta qualified by Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. Jiva is all of us, Jagat is what we see, Ishvara is the Supreme Parameshvara who we worship. So Brahman as a whole is Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, Traya, Visishta, Chaitanya Swarupa. So there is a Vishishta Advaita idea of Ramanujacharya, in which he accepts there is Swagata Bheda in Brahman. Sarva Bheda Vivarjitam. Brahman is called completely devoid of all Bhedas. That is Shankara's Advaita Vedanta position. But Ramanujacharya says it has one small Bheda within itself. It's not an outside Bheda. Within Brahman itself, There is an internal difference, Bheda, Swagata Bheda, in which Brahman appears divided into Jiva Jagat Ishvara. These are philosophical questions which have been raised to explain our daily experience. Remember, Vedanta is not a theory, it is not a theology, it is not even philosophy, it is not religion. It is a simple, direct analysis of our daily experience. This is what makes Vedanta so clear, perspicuous, direct. We are not talking about anything which is theoretically imagined. Even the scientific theories sometimes become imaginary. But science bases itself on direct experience. What you observe in the universe, based on the observation of the universe, you create certain paradigms and theories. In exactly the same way, the science of Vedanta, the science of yoga, all of them create certain paradigms, ideas, which are based on direct experience, and these experiences become understandable through these paradigms. Your daily experience says in dream you create objects yourself, from yourself, and illumine the objects by yourself. So Vishwa is the individual and Hiranyagarbha is the cosmic, microcosmic and macrocosmic. Just like I dream, you dream, everybody dreams, and in our dream we create various objects which are illumined by our own consciousness. The cosmic person, the Parama Purusha, the universal self, he dreams to create this universe. This is called the projection principle. You project from the individual onto the cosmic. You project from the microcosmic onto the macrocosmic, realizing that the microcosm and the macrocosm have been built on the same plane. So you have Vishwa and Virat and the gross plane, Sthula, Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha and the subtle plane, Sukshma, and in the causal plane, Karana, you have Pragya in the individual and Ishvara in the cosmic. There is also an idea that the causal level you don't have any cosmic counterpart. The whole thing is an individual. But there are certain Vedantic texts like Vedanta Sara by Sadananda Yati, which clearly gives this 3x3 matrix, Vishwa, Taijasa, Pragya, and the microcosmic level, mapped onto Virat, Hiranyagarbha and Ishvara at the macrocosmic level. So the Hiranyagarbha, therefore, is the cosmic mind from which the entire universe is created. Very often the Hiranyagarbha is identified with Ishvara. The meaning is the causal state and the Sukshma and the subtle state are not different. The causal is unmanifested avyakta, avyakrita, and the subtle is vyakta in the subtle plane, and the gross, sthula, is vyakta manifested in the gross plane. This is the general idea in Vedanta. Why I am saying all this is because when we talk about the Gayatri Mantra merging into Om, we should find out the map of how the Gayatri merges into Om. How do you position the Gayatri? Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya in the 5 Atma paradigm, Sthula Sukshma Karana in the Shariratraya paradigm, Mooladhara Swadhisthana Manipura Anahata Vishuddha Agnya in the Shatchakra paradigm. So in this map, where are you going to position Gayatri Mantra? Gayatri, which is called the Dhi. The whole of Gayatri is the Dhi. Dhiyo yo naf prachodayat. By the grace and the power and the illumination of this Varanyam Bhargaha, of the Savitra, the light of lights, which is the Savita, symbolized by the sun, your higher intuitive intelligence called Pragya or Dhi is awakened. Dhiyo yo naf prachodayat. So how do you position this Dhi or the Medha? The Medha Suktam clearly points out that the Medha or the Dhi is the Vijnanamaya. So Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, from there you go to the Vijnanamaya. And the Vijnanamaya is the place where the awakening of the Dhi takes place. At the individual level, you rise from the Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura up to the Anahata. As Sri Ramakrishna says, the ordinary mind, the worldly mind, is constantly engaged in eating and drinking and gossiping and indulging in sense pleasures and so on, moving in the lower 3 centers, Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura. Annamaya, Pranamaya, and Manomaya slightly higher. You live in the level of ideas, right? You write books and discuss and so on. But even that doesn't touch your inner core of your being, does not transform you. For spiritual transformation to take place, the first awakening is the awakening of the Dhi or the Vijnanamaya, Anahata. This awakening is shown by 2 symptoms. Lakshana, the yogis and the Vedantins talk about it. Vedanta talks about the Hridaya Akasha. Ya eshontar Hridaya Akashaha tasminnayam purusho manomayaha amrito hiranmayaha. Taittiriya Upanishad. It's called Dahara Akasha, Hridaya Akasha, Buddhi Guha, Hridaya Guha. So many words are used in Vedanta. That's where you realize yourself as a Pratyagatman. You realize yourself as the Atman, the spirit, apart from the body and the mind and the senses. This corresponds to the Anahata chakra in yoga and the Hridaya in Vedanta. Vijnanamaya or the Hridaya. So the Lakshana, the symptoms are, you realize, experience a mysterious, uncreated light of consciousness, simultaneously or before or after, perhaps, you listen to a mysterious, unstruck sound. This is called anahata dhvani. Ahata means struck, anahata means unstruck. Usually, sound is produced by striking one thing against another. Here is a sound which the yogis hear, which is called anahata dhvani, which is heard without any striking. Anything which is struck has a beginning and an end. So that which is not struck, unstruck, anahata, is without beginning and without end. Beginningless and endless, anadi, ananta, and therefore eternal or shashvata. Because anything which has a beginning will have a beginning in time, ending it will have in time. That which has no beginning and no ending has to be timeless or beyond time. Therefore it is eternal, it is shashvata, beyond time and therefore beyond space and causation. So this sound which is beyond time, space and causation therefore is eternally existing in the entire universe. This has been called by the Greek philosophers as the music of the spheres. People have realized this in all religions, in all philosophies all over the world. Because the mystic experience is common. As Ramakrishna very funnily used to say, Shab Shialer Ek Rag. That means all jackals howl alike. Whether it's a jackal in India, a jackal in America or England, or in France or in Germany, all the jackals have the same kind of howl. Many of these poets and philosophers, singers, musicians, composers have also talked about this. Rabindranath Tagore, one of the outstanding poets of the present century, last century, he composed such remarkable poems in Bengali mainly, in which the mark of his individual experience comes out tangibly. There is just a 4-line song which Swami Vivekananda was very fond of singing, written by Rabindranath. Bohe nirantara ananta ananda dhara. Ananta ananda dhara. Ananta, endless, infinite. Anandadhara, stream of joy and bliss. Nirantara, unbroken, unlimited by time. Bohe, it flows on. What is the experience? Which is, of which this is the outcome. The first line is the outcome of what experience? Second line says, Baje asimanabha majhe anadi rava. Look at the words. Baje asimanabha majhe. Baje is constantly ringing. Where? Ashima Nabha. Nabha is the sky, space, Akasha. Ashima, endless, infinite sky, which is called the Chidakasha. Vedanta talks about 3 kinds of Akasha. The Mahakasha, which we see in with the sun and the moon and the stars, and all of us live and move and have our being, and the Chitta Akasha, which is the Akasha spanned by thoughts. And beyond that is the Chidakasha, which is the Akasha of consciousness. Chidakasha is actually Chit, Chaitanya. Asima Nabha is the Chidakasha. That's why we call it Chidambaram. In southern part of India, there is a temple devoted to Nataraja Murti, Shiva, in the form of a dancing Shiva, who is the king of dancers. What is the form in which he exists? Akasha. What Akasha? Chidakasha. So that place is called Chidambaram. Ambara is Akasha. Chit is consciousness, Chaitanya. So Chidambaram is Chidakasha. Ashima Nabha Majhe Baje. So the sounds are arising and ringing in the infinite, endless Chidakasha, the Akasha of Chit or consciousness. Then it's followed by an experience of light. Jage aganna ravi chandra tara. Immediately Jage awakens, arises. Aganna ravi chandra tara. Aganna, innumerable, uncountable. Ravi, suns. Chandra, moons. Tara, stars. What happens if you have innumerable suns and the moons and stars? The light will be blasting. Infinite light. That is the light of the Anahata. So these two experiences described so poetically and beautifully by Rabindranath Tagore. Baje Ashimanabha Majhe Anadirava Jage Aganna Ravichandra Tara. Then what happens? It is followed by a stream of joy. Bohe Nirantara Ananta Anandadhara. Ananta Anandadhara. Infinite, endless stream of bliss, joy, continuously is flowing. So when we reach the Anahata, the experience of yogis and the Vedantins. So in the Anahata, the Vijnanamaya is awakened through Dhi in the Gayatri Mantra. Then you have the experience of light, light of consciousness, Chaitanya Jyoti, and you have the experience of a mysterious, uncreated sound. Anahata Dhvani. And beyond that is the Anandamaya, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, then Anandamaya. There, Bohe Nirantara Ananta Anandadhara. These three lines so dramatically and poetically and beautifully describe the experience of the attaining of the Vijnanamaya through the awakening and kindling of the Dhi through Gayatri Mantra, followed by passing on to the eternal realm of the infinite in the Anandamaya, which is the causal body. So you move from the gross, physical, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, on to the Vijnanamaya, where you experience the uncreated light and the unstruck sound, Anahata Dhvani, and the Jyoti, Chaitanya Jyoti, and then move on to the causal, which is the vast infinite, where there is Ananda, Ananda, Ananda Keval, infinite bliss flows. What a remarkable experience has been recorded, documented, proved, experienced by our rishis and the sages and yogis. This is a great legacy they have given to us. So we have to wake up. Sri Ramakrishna in his gospel so pithily, aphoristically mentions Gayatri merges into Om. Through the Gayatri, when the awakening of the Dhi takes place, the individual self is awakened, the Pratyagatman is awakened, the light of the individual self shines forth and the Anahata Dhvani is heard. Then you move on to the cosmic. That is the channel. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, you go vertically, then reach the Anandamaya. It will take an elevator. You take an elevator, press 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, and then you reach 4. This is the American method of counting. And the British method, you have 0, 1, 2, 3. Ground floor, first floor, second floor, third floor. In the American system, you have the first floor, second floor, third floor, and fourth floor. Whatever it may be. So reach 4, number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is the Vijnanamaya by moving vertically onwards. This is what Swami Yatishwaranandaji beautifully describes in his famous book, Adventures of Spiritual Life, as secret stairs to super consciousness. Beautiful title. So you have some secret stairs. Now, of course, we don't take the stairs, we take the elevator, the lift, which we call it in India. Elevator. You take the elevator, press 4, reach the Vijnanamaya. Then you exit the lift. Then what do? You move horizontally through an escalator, not elevator. All of you know that the elevator takes you vertically. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth floor. Then the elevator tells you whether you are on the right path. It says going up. 4th floor. Elevators now speak. When you reach the 4th floor, it says 4th floor. You exit. This is the spiritual sadhana, inward sadhana. You are moving from Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya on to Vijnanamaya. If you stick to the paradigm of the Pancha Atman, or you move from Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura on to the Anahata, if you stick to the Shatchakra paradigm. From there you exit and move horizontally onto the cosmic dimension of the Vijnanamaya. This cosmic dimension is called Hiranyagarbha. So, Medha, Dhi, Prajna has been awakened in you. You have realized yourself with the individual self. And a longing comes to you, Vyakulata, as Sri Ramakrishna would call it, overpowers you, by which you long to find out, to investigate into your relationship as the individual with the cosmic. I have realized myself as the individual self, the Atman, Pratyagatman. Now, what is the relationship of the Pratyagatman to the Paramatman, individual self and the cosmic self? Only at that time Vyakulata can come to you. We often think, why is it that we are not having Vyakulata? We are not having Vyakulata because only Chaitanya can love Chaitanya. Only Chaitanya can be attracted to the Chaitanya. Only Chaitanya can be deeply drawn to Chaitanya. A Jadavastu cannot draw a Chaitanya. So as long as you are in the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, in the Jadaloka, in the insentient, dull, dead, unawakened state, then we were happy with the Jadavastu, eating and drinking, gossiping and socializing. We are happy. That awakening takes place within you. Then you realize you do not any longer enjoy the sensations of pleasure, eating and drinking and socializing, engaging in sensual pleasures. Your awakened consciousness of the individual self as the Jiva Atman, as the Atman, Pratyaga Atman, longs to know its relationship with the Supreme Self, the Paramatman. In the Bhakti language, it is called devotion or Bhakti. This Paramatman is what you call Ishvara or God, Saguna Brahman, and your individual self is the Jivatman, and the Jiva is tremendously attracted through Bhakti to the Paramatman. It longs to become one with him and dive deep and find out what it is. Who is the Paramatma? What is the relationship? It cries and weeps as Ramakrishna did. So Ramakrishna was awakened from childhood. If you think of him as a sadhaka, which he was not, he was an avatara who had the fullest realization since his very birth. He chose to take the human body out of compassion. Yapitam swalilayacha yena divya jivanam swikritam jagarbhavasa deha pashamedrisham tam namami deva deva Ramakrishnam Ishwaram. The stotra by Swami Virajananda ji, Ramakrishna Dashakam. Swikritanja garbhavasa deha pashamidrisham. Swikriti, that means he has gladly accepted this on his own choice. Garbhavasa, living in the mother's womb, assuming a human body. What did he do? Yapitam swalilayacha yena divya jivanam. This divya jivan, this divine life, yapitam, he spent this divine life, swalilaya, out of great leela, out of fun. For him it's just leela. Just like a mother plays with the children, she hides herself behind a big pillar. And the children cry, Ma, mother, mother, where are you? Mom, mom, ma, where are you? She is not coming out because she wants to hear the sweet name of Ma, which the children call her by. So Ramakrishna said, whenever God gives you trouble and you cry, Ma, Thakur, why are you doing this to me? He waits, doesn't remove your misery quickly because... What a wonderful explanation. It's Ramakrishna's simple words. He says, Tini ma dak shunte chan khub bhalabashen. The mother wants to listen to the sound of Ma uttered by the children. So the more and more the children cry and ask, call Ma. She is waiting and waiting. After some time she comes out of the pillar and takes the child in her lap and hugs and consoles the child. That is the divine play, leela, of the Jivatman with the Paramatman. The Paramatman, like a kind mother as it were, is having fun with the Jivatman in so many ways. The Bhakti Shastras talk about different kinds of bhavas, pancha bhava. You think of the Lord as your own child, vatsalya bhava. Think of God as your sakha, friend, sakhya bhava. Think of God as your master and you are his servant, servant-master relationship, dasya bhava, or you think of God as infinite peace and calmness, tranquility. Prashantoyam Atma. It is like a extraordinarily calm, infinite, vast ocean of existence, knowledge, with Satchidananda. And in that you remain absolutely quiet and calm, Shanta Bhava. And Madhura Bhava, in which think of the Lord as your beloved and you as the lover. So you have a specific relationship with God. The Jivatman plays with the Paramatman. The Jiva, individual soul, plays with the universal soul, the Paramatman, the Supreme Self, in play. And this infinite Satchidananda, imagine it's an ocean, formless ocean, because there can't be any form and name in infinity. Infinite by definition is beyond name and form because it is beyond space and time. Name and form always mean space and time. Beyond name and beyond form would mean there is no space, there is no time, therefore no causation. So that infinite, formless, beginningless and endless ocean, suddenly there appears a form as a form of a wave, a taranga. How? A gentle breeze of compassion flows, kripa, karuna. Out of that compassionate wave of breeze, there arises a form as a taranga, as a wave, and through inscrutable power of Maya, it takes a human form. This is a description given in a remarkable song composed by Swami Premeshananda ji, listening to which Mahapurush Swami Shivananda ji was thrown into a very high state of samadhi, and he said, whoever has composed this song is an extraordinarily spiritually illumined soul. Whoever listens to this song is blessed, whoever sings this song is blessed, and whoever has composed this song is a Jivan Mukta and a remarkably illumined person. This is what we have heard of Mahapurush Maharaj saying. Arupa Shaya Re Leela Lahari Uthila Mridula Karuna Vai Adi Antahina Khande Vilin Maya Dharile Manavakai Arupa Shaya Re Leela Lahari. Arupa Shayara means formless ocean. There arose a Leela Lahari, a wave of fun, Leela. How? Mrudula Vaya, gentle breeze of what? Compassion. Mrudula Karuna Vaya, out of a gentle breeze of compassion. A gentle breeze of compassion blew over this infinite formless ocean of consciousness, Satchit Ananda, and a wave arose in that ocean, and that, beginningless and endless as it is in its real nature, Swarupa, and merges into the vast, indivisible Satchidananda again, Akhande Vileen, assumes a human form, Manavakaya, human body, embodied itself. How? Through Maya. Ajopi sannabhyayatma Ishanam Ishva Bhutanam Ishvaropi san Prakritim Swamadisthaya Sambhavam Yatma Mayaya. This is the description given in the Bhagavad Gita by Bhagavan himself. I appear to possess a human form. People do not know me as a supreme Paramatman because of the human form. Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavamajananto mama bhutamaheshwaram. Ordinary people, completely confused, ignorant of my real nature, they look upon me as a human being and insult me, ill-treat me. They do not know. So how do I embody myself? Body myself forth? Sambhavami Atmamayaya. I am Aja Avyaya, unborn and undecaying infinite, immutable. I am the Bhuta Maheshwara, the supreme Ishvara, God of all beings. Ajopi san navyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakritim swamadisthaya. So I take hold of my own prakriti, it is not apart from myself, and take a human form. This is called the inscrutable Leela of God, who takes hold of the Brahma Shakti, his own inscrutable power of Maya, Atma Maya, Vaishnavi Maya. This is a statement made by Bhagavan Shankara in the Bhashya. Vaishnavi Maya is Sattvic Maya, Shuddha Sattvic Maya. Maya is Trigunatmika, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. All the three constitute Maya, but in the case of the Avatara, he takes hold of the Sattvic Maya, pure Sattvic Maya, Shuddha Sattvic Maya, Vaishnavi Maya, and with the help of that Maya, he incarnates himself. Incarnation, karna means flesh, body. Incarnate means take a human body in flesh and blood. Therefore, in the Christian tradition, mystical tradition, Christ has been called Word made flesh. St. John's Gospel, about which Swami Vivekananda said the first 24 lines in the Gospel give the highest philosophy. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Swami Vivekananda taught it to his chosen disciples in a 1,000-island park near New York. He was in the highest spiritual mood. There he again got back the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which was denied to him by Sri Ramakrishna, locked as it were in a box, and he said, I am keeping the key with me. Once you have finished with my work, which is Mother's work, I will open the lock and give you back your own right, which is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he was brought from that state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi in the Saptarshi Mandala, in the realm of 7 sages. Swami Vivekananda was in the highest spiritual mood. He used to teach and teach for hours. Several days he used to remain absorbed without speaking. And some days he used to speak. Day passed into night and night passed into day. The disciples write, we did not know when the sun rose and set. We were simply immersed in a stream of thought, the highest elevating consciousness. So the Leela Lahari is the Taranga, the wave in the ocean of Satchidananda. And the Avatara therefore has been called the Leela Lahari. Swami Vivekananda in his famous Stotra poem, hymn on Sri Ramakrishna, where he does not mention the name of Ramakrishna as his Guru, simply mentions Guru, Master. How did he describe him? Shakti samudra samutsatarangam darshita prema vijrambhita darshita prema vijrambhitarangam samshaya rakshasa nasha mahastram yami gurum sharanam bhava vaidyam. I bow down to my Guru, Sri Ramakrishna. Who is he? Bhava Vaidyam is the curer of the incorrigible chronic disease with which we have been born, congenital and chronic disease which is called Bhavaroga. All of them, all of us jivas are afflicted with this Bhavaroga. He is the Vaidya, the doctor. Described in 3 beautiful sentences. Shakti samudra samutsa tarangam. He is a taranga, the wave, in Shakti samudra. Shakti is Prakriti. Shakti is Mahamaya. In that Prakriti, the avatara comes as a taranga, the wave. And he is also Samshaya Rakshasa Nasha Mahastram. He kills the Rakshasa called Samshaya. Every avatara kills some Asura or Rakshasa. In this incarnation as Sri Ramakrishna, what was the Asura or Rakshasa which Ramakrishna killed? Sandeha Asura, Sandeha Samshaya Rakshasa. Constantly we are troubled with doubt, with suspicion. Is it possible? Can we realize God? Does God exist? Once and for all, his life showed God exists. He can be seen. Realization of God is the only aim of the human life. A person who has got this precious human life, if he does not realize God in this very life, his life is a waste. He lives in vain. These are the 4 Chatursutri of Sri Ramakrishna. With Samshaya, doubt he kills. Darshita prema vijrambhita rangam. Vijrambhita, he manifests this prema. How does he come? Why does he come? He comes down from his infinite abode out of karuna, out of prema. The only compulsion for him is great love for humanity. This is one characteristic of all divine, spiritually illumined avatars, not ordinary illumined people, avatars. Even illumined people who are not avatars will have tremendous compassion for everybody, but avatars come down only for this. Pranaya galita chittam jiva dukkha sahishnam. In the Dhyana mantra, Swami Atmapriyananda wrote, Pranaya galita chittam. His whole heart is melting with pranaya love. He is crying, weeping. Why? Jiva dukkha asahishnam. He cannot tolerate the dukkha of the jivas. The adhyatmika, adibhautika, adidaivika dukkha which jivas, all of us pass through. He is crying and weeping, oh my children, I am coming soon, wait for my coming. I can come with avatara and remove your sorrow. There is a very touching incident in Sri Ramakrishna's life recorded by Girish Chandra Ghosh in the diary. Once Girish Chandra went to Sri Ramakrishna and he saw Sri Ramakrishna is profusely weeping like a child. Then Girish Chandra was perturbed, deeply perturbed. Prabhu, ki hoiche to how kore kanchan kano? My Lord, why are you crying like a child like this? What has happened? Then he said in Bengali, I will translate later, Dekho Girish, Gaur Nitai, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Mahaprabhu, Paye hete hete, ঘরে ঘরে গিয়ে প্রেম বিলাতো, ভগবত প্রেম সিঞ্চন করত। মা জগদম্বা আমাকে এমন শরীর দিয়েছেন যাতে গাড়ি ছাড়া এক পা আমি যেতে পারছি না, সেজন্য আমি কিন্তু ব্যাকুল হয়ে কাঁদছি। What a touching scene. He is crying for all of us. Remember that. He said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Mahaprabhu, two great incarnations, they were together like Harihara Atma, Naranarayana. They used to go barefoot, walking from door to door and awakening the consciousness of people, giving them the highest spiritual bliss and intelligence. But Mother, Divine Mother Jagadamba has given me such a delicate body that it just can't move without a cart. In those days, bullock, the horse carriage. Without a carriage, I cannot move. So how much I could have done if I had a stronger body? He is weeping for that. This is the great Vyakulata of the avatara for the soul in bondage. Just like we have Vyakulata for God, Paramatman, the Paramatman also has tremendous Vyakulata for all of us. Sri Ramakrishna, for the first time perhaps in Hindu Bhakti movement, made a statement. Just like you love God, God also loves you much more deeply. In Christianity, they always say, Jesus loves you. So you also should love all beings as Jesus loves you. Remember, all of us are blessed that God has deep love for us. He has come down only to release us from bondage. Sri Ramakrishna gave a beautiful example. In the beginning, God attracts the jiva like a magnet. God is a huge magnet and the Jivatma is a small magnet. And the big magnet is attracting the small magnet. A time will come later on when the Bhakta becomes a big magnet and draws God towards him. God, out of compassion and love for the devotee, comes down to the devotee's level because the devotee pulls him out of his deep devotion. Like the gopis, for example. Om Niranjanam Nityamanantarupam Bhaktanukampadhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpan.